Hello everybody, welcome to Brewery. This is like a little bit of a personal tour for me because my boss Alan's awesome and he's got me to meet this wonderful gentleman. This is Jimmy. I've got his face on camera. Oh yeah, there we go. This is Jimmy Baum. He's an awesome dude. He's been gave me a free beer, which is the Brewmaster's Reserve, which is one you did with Mountain Goat in Melbourne, right?
Yeah, it's called Richie Ditch.
Richie Ditch with Tasmanian peppercorns, right? And it's a saison, and it's 9%, and it's absolutely lovely. It's got real melony, pink peppercorn and bubblegummy flavours, and I'm really enjoying it. So he's going to take us for a little tour. And he might not hear it because it's quite noisy, but we'll give it a best shot, shall we? Yeah. Cool.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
man.
So this is our brew house in here. You can go ahead and roll around. It's all good. We've actually got two brewing streams here. We've got the original brew house here, which is a 25-barrel batch system. Sort of half manual, half automated. At least the ladder ton has a plow, so we don't have to dig in there. Right. So that's nice. Otherwise, you got to manually control the steam and things like that. But it's all right. We still fire that up about 2 or 3 times a month. This is the original brew house that we had when we first opened up this facility in 1996. Before then, all of our beers was contract brewed by FX Mats in Utica, about 4 hours north of here. And they still actually make the majority of our beers, but we've been working with them for 26 years. So stuff comes out, it's fantastic. It's a really good relationship we've got with them. And then this is our new brewing system. We've had this for about 3 or 4 years now. It's 50 barrels a batch, so twice the size. It's fully automated. We can get anywhere between like 6 and 8 brews a day done on this guy, depending on what time of year it is and what beers we're making. Whereas the other older system, we could really only get like maybe 2 or 3, and that would be it. So we get a lot more beer out the door. It's a lot more consistent. It's a lot easier to control. It's fantastic. It's a great little system. Built by Rolex in Germany. They do good stuff. It's a lot of fun. We pretty much run 24 hours starting very early Monday morning through Friday evening about like 9 or 10 o'clock, and then shut it down for the weekend. So we need something that we can, run to hell.
Why not? Yeah.
Which we do. We run this thing as much as we can.
I assume you just back-to-back different brewers come in at different shifts and just keep an eye on the whole thing.
So today we got a couple of guys. Our lead brewer, Tom Village, just had a baby. So he's out on leave for that.
Congratulations.
And then one of our other brewers is off on vacation, so I'm jumping in and covering the mid-shift, 3 to 11, and another guy's coming in for the overnight shift later on. It's all good. Before this was all in here, though, it was just a system. This is where everything in the brewery was. All the fermentation vessels were where the new brew house is now. The keg line was over there in the corner. The control room here was there. Everything was in this one tiny room. So everybody did everything. You mash in and then run over and start, sterilizing the filter, and then run up and see how the mash is doing, then go and mess around with the keg machine, then start the filtration, and then go up and transfer over to the louder ton, and you'd be like jumping around and doing it all.
Sounds like a brew house to me.
Yeah, exactly. Since then, I think we've gone from maybe having probably like maybe 4 or 5 guys on the brewing team to now we've got over 20.
Wow.
And like running 24 hours and putting out, back then we did maybe about 10,000 barrels a year out of this facility. And last year we did close to 50,000 barrels. This year we're going for close to 80,000 barrels. Ultimate capacity of this place is about 100,000 barrels.
Nice.
So, and that's just over like the last like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
So big increase in what we're putting out down here in Williamsburg. It's a lot of fun. We do all the fun stuff. We do all the Brewmaster's Reserves, all the bottle conditions.
This is the place of joy where you do all the. I wouldn't want to say interesting because your beers are good, but I know what you mean the different beers, not the core range. We call them
different beers.
The different beers. Different beers.
That's a good system. It's really nice.
Yeah, I mean, this is just brewer's porn. This is like, considering we have to manually fill the mashing up with water and then just add the grain by hand. This is This is like shiny dials and knobs and twistly things and.
You want to go up and check out?
Yes, please. Do I want to see the equipment from above? Yes, I want to see the equipment from above.
Alright.
Woo, it's hot up here.
It looks like... Yeah. So that's our mash. It's almost done. Getting nice and agitated up there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, it's not almost done. I'm sorry. It's just about to get started.
Okay.
But it stays nice and agitated, which is really good. Yeah. And we have a couple of beers that really push this to the limit. It's got an ultimate capacity, really, for a decent mash to water ratio. You can get probably like just about like 3,600 pounds in there.
Right.
We have a couple of beers that are like 3,600, 3,700 pounds.
So you're just pushing it.
Yeah, we push it a little bit.
Yeah, especially for a low ABV for America, but
that
standard
comes
for
out
us.
at about 8.6%. That's our double IPA, the Book of Glass.
Okay, so a ton of malt in that. Yeah, it's good.
And actually, in the Black Ops, I think gets almost to that amount of malt in the mash kettle as well.
Nice.
It gets right up there too. Yeah. That one has some Demerara and some dextrose added in to bring the ABV way up.
Yeah.
But malt-wise,
It's pretty standard.
All right, hey, that opened up. There's our louder ton. Just finished emptying out. Really nice little guy.
Look at this beautiful watering arms. Oh, it's pretty.
Yeah, it's quite pretty.
Yeah,
It's very new. We take really good care of it. Out as much as we
I've seen some original German and Polish ones where they're still copper and steel, and they are just like ka-dunk, like machines. And amazing, but they always say like.
I saw some in Denver for
Really?
The Craft Brewers Conference back in April, and we went to the Prost Brewery just on the outskirts of Lodo in Denver, and it was their louder ton, like you could see like the fucking gears and everything like rolling. I swear to God, I was expecting it to be like steam powered. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. It was so cool. Yeah. They have like this really, really old, awesome all copper brew house there.
Oh, they're pretty, but I bet they're a pain in the backside to
That's what they were saying. I'm talking to some of the brewers.
You wait for a cup to fall off, and he's got like your mash has got copper floating around inside. You're like, no.
Yeah. Totally. I'm a bit in charge of safety here as well.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to know what it's like. You know, have to reach in there and lift up the plow or something. Yeah.
Moments like that where the safety guy's got to leave the room. Like, right, Jimmy, we need you to leave. Why? Just leave.
See no evil.
Yeah. See no evil, hear no evil, etc. etc.
You can't really see that much. Here's our wort kettle. We've got where's it in here right now? This is actually I think the last batch that we're doing today.
Okay.
Not the last batch that we're doing. The last batch today.
Right.
But cool little system. It's got an external boiler and then an internal cone. I'll be honest, don't blame me. Back when I was working in England, the word for it was Chinese hat. I don't know what it's actually called. So, but I learned that from you guys.
Cylinder conical?
What?
Cylinder conical?
No. Like the internal.
Oh, sorry. Right. Okay.
But no, it's a great boiler. Works really well. Really good kettle.
Yeah, you can feel the heat coming off it up here. I tell you that.
Yeah, you can. And this is actually, and then down here we got the whirlpool.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But then this isn't a 4-vessel system. This is actually a 5-vessel system. We don't louder directly into the wort kettle. That cylinder conical vessel there is a pre-run tank.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, so we louder into that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And then from there.
And then that way, we can start loudering before the kettle is done.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
Allows
Cool.
us to, if we didn't have that, it would probably cut us down to about 4 to 6 brews a day instead of 6 to 8.
So for efficiency, getting into the
water. Just got to make sure it's really, really well insulated and can hold the wort, above 168 degrees. Otherwise, the enzymes will renature. Yes, it works out really well. And usually we only get about maybe between like 15 and 20 barrels in there on a 50-barrel batch before it transfers into the kettle and we can start boiling.
There's only a small amount,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Is that a hopper over there for your grain?
That's the Chris case for the original brewing system into the mash kettle, and then we got the louder ton over here on the left.
And on the right is the copper.
And on the right is the copper whirlpool combo. Yeah.
And like you said, where we were now was probably where the original fermenters were, I'm assuming.
Yeah. We would be standing on top of the original fermenters if they were still here.
I'm assuming over past that little glass window there is a nice fermentation room, is it?
No. That's all the fermentations in there. That's the driveway, spent grain silo.
Right.
Up in there, we've got a little loft space that we own. We were going to turn it into something, and then we had to put packaging equipment in there, and you'll see why in a minute when we get into the packaging hall.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. Let's head on down there.
Right. Nice. It's like a sauna.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. Safety first.
No, I don't, but apparently my glasses will work.
It's even louder in here. This is our fermentation cellar and packaging hall.
Thank you.
So as you can see, at the peak of production, it's just a lot of mayhem. Really, really busy. We're kegging up probably close to 250 barrels of beer today. And then we're also doing a single bottling of some of our bottle conditioned beers. So this is local too. Going into bottles now.
One of my favorites.
Oh yeah, totally underrated too. It doesn't get as much press as like Sriracha from Local One. Yeah, that's a fantastic beer. I love it. I love it. So if you want here, I'll take it down. I'll show you how we do that process.
Yep, cool. Fermentation vessels. Lots and lots of them.
Right. So these are our bright tanks down here.
All right, yeah.
The way that we do these beers is we ferment them out as normal. Local 2 is a dark Abbey style Belgian ale.
Yeah.
So it's got a little bit of dark roasted malt. I think it's Simpson's chocolate malt in there. And then some Belgian candy syrup. Fermented with our House Belgian strain.
Yeah, let's give it.
And we let it ferment out as normal, like we normally do. Crash it down. And all we do is we basically just turn the glycol off and let it naturally warm back up again to about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And once it hits there, we transfer it into one of our bright beer tanks. Uncarbonated, of course.
Yeah.
And then our lab personnel, they take a bunch of samples and do a bunch of readings on things like
See viability.
ABV, AE, pH, residual. I do a rapid on it to see if there's any more residual fermentable sugars in there, which there shouldn't be, but just in case. And then what they do is they then use that to make a calculation of how much sugar to add and how much yeast to add to get it to the carbonation level that we want in the bottle. So they do all that with like this little canister down here. They basically just like sterilize it, fill it up with some hot water, dissolve the sugar in there, and then slowly pump it into the bright tank and recirculate it through to get it all mixed up. And then they do the same thing with the yeast. They don't mix that in hot water, that will kill the yeast, but they mix it up and then recirculate it through to get the yeast dose in. And then once they've got that done, everything's all nice and homogenized. We've got like a time limit. Like you got like 6 hours to get everything in the bottle before it all starts to settle, it starts to get active, and you lose CO2 and all that jazz. And then basically, it all just gets pumped into our bottle filler and fills up the bottle. And we hold on to them for about 2 weeks, usually about a week and a half to 2 weeks in our temperature controlled warm rooms. And then we stick them in the cold box, like where all the kegs are and everything, to make the yeast go dormant, and then we send it all out. So that's how we do that process. It's really quite simple and easy. The trick is getting the sugar and the yeast levels right.
Perfect carbonation, and that is an art form. That is an art form.
Get exploding bottles.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This has some really cool pieces. We can get right in there. It's not too big right now. So the only thing is that we don't label the bottles beforehand because it goes through so many temperature swings within just a couple of days even when we first fill them up. We had a problem with the labels coming off. So we're working on it. We're seeing if we can get some different things going. But at the moment we have to label them up after we fill them or after we're done conditioning. Okay. Yep. So they basically, we just put these bottles on. This new machine we've only had since September. It's great. It's one of 2 in the entire world from what I recall that are actually in operation right now. The other one's somewhere in France. And it can do this style of bottling, and then it can also do more classic 12-ounce counter pressure fill bottling.
This is impressive. This corking down here looks so cool.
Yeah. So that's the corker. And they can do crowns as well. That's a crown head capper.
Oh, so it's a dual purpose.
It's dual purpose. It can go back and forth. So we can do flat fill like this, and then it can also do counter pressure fill on 12-ounce bottles.
Right.
Which isn't that big of a deal. Machines have been able to do that for a while. This guy can do the changeover between the two though in less than 2 hours.
Wow. Okay.
Whereas other machines, you'd have to change out the valves in every single fill head. This guy's got new technology that we don't have to do that on. So we can do a changeover in 2 hours instead of like a whole day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive stuff.
And they go out. So it's really great. It's running a bit slow right now. This is how we run it on the 750 ml bottles. per hour. It's awesome. There's no other way to describe it. It's just awesome.
I imagine it's like a machine gun, yeah.
Oh, it's so cool. Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's a lot of fun to see.
Yeah,
it's a lot of good knowing that the beer's coming out at that speed. Just absolutely fantastic as well.
It's got
such good TPO control. It's not even funny. It's amazing.
I mean, Brewer's Pond, it just is. It's a beautiful machine, big, busy, whiz bang pop stuff. Yeah. It's just gorgeous.
We even had it customized a little bit.
Oh, look at that! Look at that! Nice, beautiful machine. Absolutely beautiful. Because I mean, the amount you're producing, this is absolutely state-of-the-art equipment, isn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely state-of-the-art.
So I mean, we don't really do most of the 12-ounce bottles come from Utica.
Yeah.
Really, we do all the 750 ml bottle conditioned beers down here, and we got this so that we can do some 12-ounce bottles. Now we're doing the blast in 12-ounce bottles, which is amazing in the bottle. I gotta say, I think it's even better than it is on draft. But then also, we just came out with a new beer that's at the moment just for Sweden. We designed it for them. It's called Half Ale. It's like a table saison, 3.4%. It's got some sweet orange peel, some Sriracha hops, Amarillo, and Styrian Goldings.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Nice
really,
mix.
Yeah, really
old and new world, yeah.
Yeah, left unfiltered. It's
all the extra flavor in it, yeah.
Yep. It's good stuff. So that's at the moment only available in Sweden, and we'll be releasing it domestically here in the States later on. I think in the late fall, it'll come out here. But it's a whole interesting story behind it. I can tell you later if you want. Sweden's got some really interesting laws about selling
the system Bolliget, you can only sell to nationalized bottle shops.
Exactly. If it's 3.5% or above. So this 3.4% makes us the first craft beer sold in the grocery stores in Sweden.
Woo!
That's what it's all about. That's
awesome.
And it's a fantastic beer too.
Yeah.
I'll admit, even if Garrett's watching, I don't care. I was a little, personally, I didn't care. It's fucking awesome. It's great.
Awesome, nice one.
Yeah. Cool. Let's go check out some of the great things.
Right.
Sometimes you gotta move quick around here.
Yeah.
So like I said, all of this space that we've been in now, we've only had this since like 2009. Kind of funny story, we wanted to get in here way earlier than that, but the landlords, like, this land was worth a lot of money. And from what I heard, right after Lehman Brothers went under, they called us and was like, what was it you guys were offering for a lease? And we were able to finally move in here because of the drop in land value after the recession. So it was actually a good thing for us, but it's allowed us to expand into all this new fermentation space, which is just, absolutely wonderful. These are all pretty much brand new cylindrical conical vessels. The ones you see here are 100 barrels each. And then down here in the area that we lovingly call
Oh my God, look at the size of them.
200 barrel vessels.
Jeez, they're huge.
Yeah. And there's 14 of them.
Yeah, look at the size of the cylindrical conical part. It's taller than one Jimmy.
Yeah.
He's not a short guy. Wow.
Yeah. It's like a canyon, I love it.
Yeah.
14 of them.
Can you imagine if one of these bursts and everything flooded through here? That's a lot of beer.
Yeah,
200 barrels.
That's a lot of beer.
What's that? 200 barrels?
No, they're pretty big. Granted, before I worked here, I worked for Heineken UK in Manchester, and we had 4,400 hectoliter size vessels. So yeah, these are pretty big, I guess.
Yeah. Top trumps.
I'm used to bigger. Yeah, it's all good.
Oh, you came here and you're like, why are these things so small?
Yeah. It's great to see, though. I love it. I love being here. I love being able to make good beer. Yeah, that's fantastic stuff. That's good. It's going to be loud where we're going now because he's got it up and running. But back here, we got a couple more toys. So this is our new centrifuge. We just got this guy in, I want to say, just after the new year. Basically, it's GEA Westphalia. It's exactly the model. I think it's the 1.5. But it's fantastic. It's really great. The beer comes out really nice and clean just off the bit. We can very easily control the rate, and we're starting to get to where we can dial in specific hazes. So like we want to run something like half ale through here and keep the haze consistent across all of them and get at any like large bits, we can do that. So we're really starting to get on that. And then if we want to do a polish, we've got our leaf filter here as well, especially removing things like chill haze a lot easier and stuff like that. So IPAs, pale ales. We do a little bit of both on them, just to get them really nice and clear and stable, colloidally. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a good little piece of kit. And very easy to run. It ain't cheap, but it's really, really easy to run.
Yeah, this looks like the most expensive stuff I've seen for a long time. Computers built in it, and
no, totally. And when it got delivered, I don't know how to run it, right? I haven't been trained up on it yet. I'm the production manager. I'm not running it. But our head seller, man, when he got trained up and ran it, and I come down, it's like, what's it like? And he goes, you look at it, and you're like, holy shit, what the hell am I going to do? It's actually really easy. It's like, you can hit a few buttons, and it pretty much does it all. And it looks super confusing, but it's actually very, very easy to run.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's a good piece of kit. Westphalia are great. They're a great bunch of guys. I highly recommend them. Yeah. And then lastly, through here. Some people think it's boring, but like you said, brewer's born. This is malt storage. We've got our warehouse across the street, so over here we pretty much just keep like what we need to use like this week or within the next couple of days. And then our 2 bulk silos as well. So that big cube is actually 2 different silos that holds our pale malt, which we get from Crisp, and our Pilsner malt that we get from Environment. So those are pretty much our 2 main suppliers, Crisp and Environment.
Right.
We use a lot of their malts, and a fair amount from Muntons as well.
Oh, so you pretty much don't use American then? Crisp is American, isn't it?
No, Crisp is British. Crisp
is it?
British.
Oh,
yeah.
Push my mouth.
Scotland.
We use it, and I didn't know that. Whoops.
They're great guys. In particular, this stuff here, the Glen Eagles Maris Otter, which is their floral malted Maris Otter. It's beautiful, beautiful malt.
Yeah.
It ain't cheap, but it's worth it. We use that, and that's the base malt for our winter ale, actually, which really helps with that malt backbone of that beer, because that's like a
little bit of
Scottish
sweeter taste.
style ale. And then also the Brooklyn Blast, because we really like balanced beers here. We don't make beers that are going to be like super in your face hoppy. A good friend of mine who I met back in the UK, he used to describe it as like face meltingly hoppy. We don't really want to go with things like that. So like even our Blast, which is our double IPA, it's only about 60 IBUs around there.
Right.
Between like 55 and 65 IBUs, depending on what batch. But it uses a fair amount of the Glen Eagles Maris Otter as well to really give it a nice malt backbone that balances it out, and it's a wonderful, beautiful beer. Yeah, and it's not like completely in your face. It is 8.7% alcohol, but so we're not messing about there. It's still true to the double IPA style, but it's great stuff. Yeah. Oh, it's really nice. We use a little bit of American malt. We use some Brice, and then some Canadian malts as well.
But slightly less sweet at the end of the day, aren't they? You can get slightly more fermentables out and slightly less residual toastiness from around.
You just don't get that same malt character.
No, you just don't.
Which is really what we're after. And we use a lot of Simpsons as well, especially the roasted malts. So we use Simpsons for the roasted. We use Muntons for their crystal and their lager. We use Environment for Munich, Pilsner, wheat malts, and we use Crisp for pale malt, Maris Otter, stuff like that, which we use an awful lot of. And then some of the Crisp dark malts as well. Some Crisp black malt and some Crisp roasted barley as well. Yeah. And actually, we got a beer that's coming out now, or that's already out, but we're tweaking it a little bit, that uses over 60% locally sourced ingredients. So we're starting to get some New York State malt in as well, malt and unmalted wheat. So all from New York State or Massachusetts, within a certain radius of the city. And that's out and available at the farmers markets here in New York. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's really nice. It's called Green Market Wheat. That's a great one. Yeah. Pretty cool. Last thing I think we should see is one of my favorite parts, the barrel room across the street. Especially since you guys are doing sours.
Yeah, sure.
Have that. Make it work.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here.
Yeah. Looks like they're doing some shuffling around and debating to be quick in and out. What's up, man? How you doing, man? What you guys up to?
Taking some time, we're going out tomorrow.
All right, okay. There's still some in here.
So the smell of oak.
This is a bit of our barrel aging facility. Really not that much, actually. We keep things in here that we need to keep an eye on. So a lot of that is in here because it's all sitting on cherries, so we can keep a close eye on it. We've got some things sitting on strawberries. We've got a couple of beers that are sitting on wine lees as well in here, so they're still fermenting actually in the barrel. So those we're keeping an eye on in here. All the other ones, we actually just got a custom-built facility down in the Navy Yard. The Brooklyn Navy Yard is about a mile away from here. That can, this can fit, I think, around 200 oak barrels. That place can fit over 2,000 oak barrels. And we just opened that up about 2 weeks ago. So we're putting most of our stuff down there, especially the things that we don't need to have keeping an eye on. So things like Black Ops and Cuvée Noir and a couple other ones that are coming out very soon. Well, hell, I don't have to keep it a secret. I just saw it online the other day. We got a traditional English style barley wine seal. Hand and seal that's coming out next quarter.
Nice.
And that's sitting, so that's the traditional English style barley wine. Oh, here's some right here actually. Here's some of the hand and seal. And so this is sitting in second use bourbon barrels for a while. So they're fairly exhausted, but just still getting a nice amount of wood flavor onto them.
But not overpoweringly so, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, but not like the big, none of the bourbon flavor, you know, not that really. But that was a lot of fun, the way we did that. We did it in the traditional style. We mashed in and loudered on the 50-barrel Rolex system. When we broke into the pipework, put a hose in there, and loudered it into the kettle of the smaller 25-barrel system.
Cool.
And just collected like the first 28 or 29 barrels of the strong worts. And dumped the weak worts. We didn't do anything with them. We figured, you know, in the future, maybe we'll try and find something better.
Yeah, do a small beer.
Yeah, do a small beer. So we boiled it for a good 3.5 hours. Really concentrated it down to about 25 barrels worth. So we're starting gravity of about 27 to 29 degrees Plato, just absolutely massive. And let it ferment away for a good long while, and it's been sitting in barrels for about 4 months now. We'll go to about 6 months and then bottle it up and send it out. So that's going to be bottle re-fermented as well. So that's going to be really, really nice beer.
I cannot wait to get that one. I have to say, the smell in this place is amazing. The oak and the
I wish you had smell-o-vision.
Yeah, smell-o-vision.
That's why I love bringing people over here. It smells delicious. Oh, you can see we've got some up there. Oh, over here. These are cognac barrels.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, this guy here. So we've got some of this hand and seal sitting in cognac barrels just to see what kind of
See what the flavor difference is. Yeah.
I think that one up there, I think is actually a mezcal barrel. Like the tequila style stuff. Yeah. So that's in the mezcal barrel. We got a couple other wine barrels. Those might be down in the new facility and everything. Yeah. So we're getting a different variety of barrels. And finally got a hookup. I'm not going to say who, but finally got a connection to get some Scotch whiskey barrels. Yeah.
Lucky man.
All right, man. Probably stay out of Ben's way now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be getting some Scotch whiskey barrels coming in and playing around with those. Really want something that has something. Either I got two things that I really want to focus on for that. I want to either get something that has some really nice smoky, heavily peated whiskey in there. Last year did a collaboration with the guys at Williams Brothers actually on a peated style sort of take on a wee heavy.
Right, cool.
Called a wee bit, fantastic. And the guys at Williams Brothers are amazing.
Yeah, great
Bruce
brewers,
and Chris and Steve, those guys are awesome. And we hope to have them over here sometime very, very soon. And so really love the peat. I fell in love with whiskey when I was living over there, so I want to get a nice heavily peated, or something that was like an ex-Oloroso sherry that then had whiskey, and now we're gonna put beer in it. I want to play with that and see what we can get from there.
Nice.
So that's what I'm looking for. Yeah. All right. I got something over here for you.
Okay.
I gotta go over it. We got 2 minutes. That's it.
Yeah.
All right, not a problem. All right. So this is Brooklyn Wild Streak. It's the first of a new series that we're doing called BQE, or the Brooklyn Quarterly Experiment. It's quite a long story behind it. It took almost 2 years to make this beer. Started off as sort of mild Belgian golden ale that we fermented out as normal. We then put it into second use ex-bourbon barrels, actually ex-Black Ops barrels, for about 9 months to get a really nice woodsy flavor off of it. And then we bottled it up with Britannomyces and a little bit of champagne use, but just a hint, and let it sit in the bottles in our warehouse for almost a year. before we actually released it, so that Brett would have enough time to really do its thing and get that nice funky character in there straight away. So we bottled this up back in November of last year, so it's been in the bottles for almost a year and a half now, and it's just fantastic stuff. Really nice and funky. For lack of a better way to describe it, it's quite barnyardy, but in a very good way. It's got a really nice maltiness to it as well. Not too sour, it's got a good tart kick though, but really, really, really nice stuff. And it will just keep on aging. I think that in another year, it's going to be just
Peak.
flipping phenomenal. Really, really is. Yeah, yeah. But I hope if you get a chance to have some of that.
Cheers.
It's one of my favorite beers right now.
Thank you ever so much for doing this. And literally, the battery's going in like 3 seconds or so. So you've been a star, honestly.
Hey, Alan, how you guys doing?
There you go. Shout out for them guys as well. Thank you ever so much. It's been brilliant walking around you. You're an awesome guy. Cheers, man.
No problem, man. My
Thanks,
pleasure.
dude.